Okay, the next question is about repairing, maintaining, and constructing the dams, reservoirs, and bayous. And so some of this may be redundant. I didn't weed out any questions. We're going to list them all, and so if somebody else has another question or another answer to this question, that'd be great. What specific preventative maintenance is being done now for the Barker and Addicks reservoirs?
Not here to answer that question.
Okay.
It didn't come.
Flood control refused to come. I've got them on the last slide where they tell us there's no erosion and no debris in our bayous. So we'll talk about that later.
Okay, I'll speak up because if they're telling us that, then that's not correct.
That's correct. And we can you go to the very last slide, please? Sorry, we're jumping all over the place. So this is the flood control statement. You can read as well as I can, but it says, with respect to future drainage infrastructure improvements in your area, your best point of contact would be the City of Houston's Public Works Rebuild Houston office. And they give you the contact information. And they say that the questions that they can answer, they're diligently working to clear and repair the 2,500 miles of open waterways across Harris County. The debris and repairs have been identified and can be viewed at this link. And if you turn the page, go ahead and go to the next page, please, where the map is. It says, if there are any problems citizens see in the bayous that are not captured in this interactive map viewer, they can submit it to Citizen Services or Citizens Service at hcfcd.org for one of their inspectors to investigate. And so if you go to the map, which is the next question, or next page, anything with the blue triangle is debris and anything with yellow is erosion. And while I don't back up to the bayou, I know a number of people in the room do, and when I look down the bayou, when I cross it at Dairy Ashford every day, I see trees hanging off the side of it, and that to me is erosion, but maybe the flood district has a different definition. So I think everyone in this room should inundate them with complaints that the area has eroded and has debris in it, and it needs some attention. So there's your email, and I'll attach the presentation later for y'all to be able to. Oh, and it's on the contact sheet too. Everybody gets a reporting, erosion and debris, erosion and debris, erosion and debris.
Ma'am?
Yes.
The notion of what projects are going on, let me just join my colleagues in saying, sorry for what you're going through. I don't need some pictures. I live here, so I see it every day, as does Greg. And so we're pretty attuned to what's going on. The projects that are going on are as the full range of what a rainstorm would involve. And what I mean is we have rain that falls and the city's supposed to get it to the gutters, and the county's supposed to get it into the channels, and the Corps is supposed to take care of it when it gets to the reservoirs. So there is work for every entity in this. Nobody gets a pass, and all of us have to step up and do our jobs. And we have to do that in a cooperative way and in ways we have not done before. And I'm sorry to tell you that, but I want you to know we have not had to have discussions like this. Who's actually in charge of those? I'm sorry, it's the dams and reservoirs. But truly, we have a major urban area that's downstream of the reservoir that's run by a Corps out of Washington, and Harris County doesn't have say-so. But in terms of infrastructure, there's all kinds of things going on. Senator Huffman talked about the third reservoir. We're all for that. We're pushing it. That's not going to affect the hurricane season, or even the one after that, or probably even the one after that. Some immediate things that we need to push for. Getting the drainage ways from our neighborhoods into the bayou. How many of you noticed flooding in your neighborhood and the bayou looks just fine, right? So that's something we need to address because that's where the water's supposed to go. In this case, though, the bayou couldn't handle the volume was coming down, and so they're going to have to talk about making improvements to the flow of Buffalo Bayou and limiting the flow coming out of the reservoir. And that requires big dollars. Thank you for letting me represent you people. I know you work hard, and you generally, as Greg knows, don't ask for a lot of stuff. And we hear you, but you have state and federal folks truly responsible. The state, we've kind of inserted ourselves into this process because we want to help, but we don't really have a direct role in much of this. We want to help. We're going to be a banker. We're going to be an investor. We're going to try to coordinate people. We're going to change laws so that we can have Montgomery County work better with Harris County and not send all the water from the Sanderson River into Kingwood. Their flow from Kingwood, from the river, was 10. It wasn't good here, and it was terrible there. But I just thought we were trying to do all kinds of things. There's a whole list of projects that are being worked on, from city storm sewer projects to county working on debris issues and channel issues to the deepening and the dredging of the reservoirs themselves. And that is a cheap fix. Okay, looking right back to you. So that is a cheap fix. Do you mind if I finish what I'm saying? So if anybody has those kind of questions, happy to deal with them. I don't want to sidetrack the meeting, but out of respect to the group and trying to keep things going, I'll help you understand how things work. So the notion of bills passing one chamber, not the other, happens all the time. The bill that was talked about was one that was talking about the coastal spine. You all know about sometimes called the Ike Dike. And we wanted to create a new level of government with new taxing abilities and things like that so that we can maintain the spine if it was ever built. We weren't so keen on creating another level of government. We wanted to maintain the spine. So we instead passed a resolution, worked with the Senate, and passed a resolution so the Fed would know we're ready to step up and maintain the Ike Dike should it be funded. So we provided an answer to the question that was different than what people thought should be done perhaps, but accomplished the goal. So the Ike Dike is terribly important, but please understand, let me...
Can you finish answering, please, sir? Just let him finish that answer.
So the Ike Dike, I think we all know, is a terribly important element in our system. And protecting the ship channel and the petrochemical industry particularly, I think it's like 85% of the nation's jet fuel comes out of the area. We have to do that. It's critically important. But I hope y'all are smart enough to know that dike would have made zero impact on what we experienced. Y'all know that? Absolutely. And so I don't want you to be fooled by political ruse and an attack, and that's fine. But we're committed to doing things that work, things that help you, things that make a difference. And the Ike Dike, by the way, is in the request we've sent to the feds, and we're hoping they'll fund it. And that'll be great. But please understand, these big infrastructure projects, and so we've got to look at the quick things we can do right now. So
To the original question, the overarching question? Yes.
Well, last page with the Harris County.
Oh, the last page with the map, please.
No, not the map.
The page before?
Right there.
Yeah.
I want to address that. My name is Greg Travis. I'm your city councilor, and I do live like 10 houses away. But we were out of our house for 2 weeks, had to canoe to it ourselves. We didn't flood, so I did not know. We lost 4 tires driving around. And right now I'm trying to make sure that we have an hour 307. That's my personal. Just call my office, they'll give it to you. But let me go back to this real quick. And a lot of these are being answered by Harris County funding or Harris County itself. So, well,
right.
If I don't know it, I'll tell you I don't know it. We don't have it. Real quick, so we get this, I don't want to waste. Our job in the city is to get that water that lands on your roof. The problem is our water can't get to that water. If it goes to the bayou is full, it goes nowhere. It backs up into the pipes, it backs up into the streets, it backs up into your road. I want to have a question later on about rebuild. We are right now working on certain projects. There's a question about Memorial, but that's on there. That's part of the drainage project. We're doing a huge drainage project. And thing on Gary Ashford. I'm right now trying to make sure they don't have it simultaneously. Oscar Rinda, that's a different one I'm going to talk about in a second here, but I'll tell you that Oscar Rinda, I've already made formal request of fire insurance contract. I did that several months ago. And Jones back there can attest to that. Randy was there, so the meetings, we go to these meetings every month. He yelled at him, I yelled at him. And I actually went to the mayor and I talked to our legal counsel. We're having a problem with my legal counsel. They don't have to cut the ties. It's not my call, but I've already formally requested that. They haven't approved. I'll give you this. Officer Rinda sent a person down from Dallas, one of the top dogs, and things are improving. Doesn't mean they're a year behind. They're a year behind. I live out of Village Place. That's where, we travel here all the time. I got 2 cars. I got a Land Rover and I've got a Mercedes. And I drive my Land Rover. But on my car, my Land Rover, and what I'm afraid of is that we might be having to redo this. That's not acceptable, because we've spent $34 million on that project alone to spend. It is. And I want to say this, you are 100% right, I agree with you. I was not, I'm not going to sit there and ask the bug, but I was not there when they designed it, when they went through this. I am there right now on the Kirkwood, on the design of that. Randy's working me on this. But I'll be back to the drainage real quick. I apologize for not getting on talk about that. We are doing infrastructure projects. And we're no longer doing these hold that water back. Got to hold that water back. But that's what we're going on. So when they say we're responsible for getting to the bayou, and once the bayou, they do the open ditches, everything. So it's not just the bayou, it's the open ditches. We're responsible for everything you see on the streets and other streets. Right. And so I want to let you know, so when you start asking questions about talking to Public Works, well, I do talk to Public Works, they're very responsive. If you have a problem with what's going on in your street, talk to me and I'm responsible for it. If you have a problem with that, I can handle it. If you have a problem with those, a lot of these questions are going to be Harris County Public Works. I don't want to sit up here and start answering for them when I really don't know what our answer is. I want you to have the right answer, not just my answer. But I want to make you guys aware of that. I'm taking more time than I need to right now anyway, so I just want to make sure that you're on it. Thank you very much.
Okay. Unless somebody thinks we can get an answer out of the rest of the repairs, maintenance, and constructions of the dams, reservoirs, and bayous, I would argue that we should probably just skip these because I'm not sure we really have anybody here that can answer. Yes, sir.
So I think that we're always going to have this problem until Buffalo Bayou is big enough to take whatever amount of water the Corps of Engineers decides to dump down it. And so that's going to be a huge project to straighten it out and dig it out and make it deeper. And I seriously doubt that Harris County has enough money for that. You want me to start over? Is there anybody up there who's involved in any level of government that knows about any program to try to get enough money together to be able to dig out Buffalo Bayou so it'll take the flow from Addicks and Barker Reservoir, assuming the Army Corps of Engineers, who's not here, is just going to dump this much water again?
One of the ways this is working is all the local governments, they gave like a wish list, and that was compiled when the ask was made to Washington for, was it the $61 billion? So each local entity, whether it be a city in South Texas that was flooded or they lost their school, or whether it was Harris County who had this wish list of what they wanted to do with their bayous, they had to prioritize that, and then that was all sent to the feds. So one of the things we can do, I don't know offhand if that was one of the things on the wish list, but that is something that we can find out about. I don't think that's a secret. It's probably public record somewhere. It's something we could certainly look at to see if it's something that was even, there was a request of money for. So I can answer it that much, that's the way that these projects are being prioritized. And then once the money comes down from the feds, then the money will be, my understanding, in most cases administered through the state, but based on the wish list from the local entities. Is that correct? Okay, so that's what I can add to that.
I'll just say, I'm Michelle, it's we're going to be asked to make thank you.
We're going to be asked to make a local match, and you will be asked to vote for some bonds at some point. And the county's right now kind of kicking tires on prices. But until we find out what the feds are going to do, what they're going to fund, and whether we're going to be an 80-20 or a 90-10, no one wants to ask you for money yet. But you will be asked for money for some pretty significant capital investment here in this region, probably through Harris County. I suspect more than the city. So.
That Harris County, I usually shout. It's my understanding Harris County Commissioners Court just voted on basically dredging portions of the bayou. Several weeks ago, there was a vote by the Commissioners Court extension area in a large part bayou, basically from the Beltway 8, as Commissioner Raddick had been discussing doing. Some people who are worried about saving the trees and the forests in there. That's probably not going to end up happening. They're going to end up dredging those trees because those are slowing down the water, and the water is slow, it doesn't move as fast, and it stays in there longer. So that's my understanding. That just happened because Commissioners Court.
I'd just like to.
Can you repeat the question?
She asked what's going to happen to the villages. I always have to say, know what you know, know what you don't know. What you don't know, don't say much about it. There's a lot of things I don't know. But I'll tell you what I've heard. So I want to start a rumor mill. So assume I'm on next door. Okay? Which is a rumor mill. My understanding that they're looking into doing it by, is that in that area, the people own the land shots. And so that causes, and so you really can't do a whole lot until you do eminent domain, buy them out, to do just that. When you do that, you're gonna have a long drawn out battle because these people will fight you. Because they pretty much did not do it. Because they're gonna have them buy them out and they're gonna try to basically dredge that on both sides and widen that area to get that through. Because that's really where we're having a problem. If you look at where all the flooding occurred, it's downtown flooded, down on River Oaks. The village has saved a lot of people down there because they restricted the flood. But that's my understanding that they will be looking at the domain, the domain. It's who's going to do that. We as a city can't, do those are the villages.
Representative Travis, I just wanted to
When I say we say, I didn't say we said, I'm saying the villages. The fact that they acted as that restriction, because that water couldn't go anywhere. To get this water out of here, we can widen this bayou from Highway 6 all the way down to Beltway 8 and then some. But once we get to the villages, we don't do anything there. We're still going to back up. And so that has to be part of the solution.
But that's positive an idea. The fact that we flooded, and they did.
Well, you need to talk to the villages about that. Yeah, and that's it. That's the thing. So Harris County, and I don't want to sit there and throw anything at Harris County or anybody else, but the city of Houston has no authority over the villages. And I'll give you one of my little stories real quick that upset me, and I had an argument with villages. One of the things they did is they allowed guests to stay flooded. The bridge was open. I have pictures of it. I was driving these every day, and they allowed that to stay flooded. We offered them $4 to drive that street to pump it out, come back for 3 hours. Now they call me a liar, and I'm not a liar because I tell you what, the head of public works knows this, and our fire chief knows it, because we offered, we were there. And I have the photographs that show that they were flooded in their area in the street. But the villages, Bunker Hill wanted to keep it that way because Beltway 8 was like that problem with Beltway 8. Until Beltway 8 was drained, they opened up Beltway 8, shocking, right? But I had no control over Bunker Hill. And if I could, I would put public work projects all around all their streets and block them in.
Your mother wants you to sit down. Don't go there.
Okay, I'm gonna skip on past the repairs maintenance over to flood control and tax dollars. And I think I'm gonna skip flood control and head straight to tax dollars and water bills. So one of the questions that was asked is, so the second